Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Savannah Marshall, you may have read, has triggered the rematch clause with Claressa Shields. The fight is a long way off being signed and sealed, but it does look like they could well fight again. Savannah beat Claressa in the amateurs, and as we know, Claressa earlier last year, I was going to say earlier this year, of course it's 2023 now, but last year, towards the back end of the year, she beat Savannah and got revenge. It was a terrific fight. Terrifically competitive fight. I thought it was very, very close. I actually scored it as I watched it live, and I'm in the very small minority that thought Savannah's heavier hands edged it. A lot of people say, well, you're talking about, clearly she was outworked. Yes, the more work was coming from Claressa, and she definitely showed terrific tactical nous. She started extremely quickly, which kind of offset Savannah a lot. But I thought second half of the fight, Savannah closed the gap and actually pinched it ever so slightly. I have no problem at all if you think Claressa Shields won. And Savannah and Peter Fury, they said, no, you know, she was the better person on the night, blah, blah, blah. You know, Claressa Shields made a believer out of me because I've always thought she was slightly overrated, had lots of skills, but I thought defensively, even though she feints a lot, she's very quick. I thought maybe Savannah with some body work would get her. The 10-2s always, as I've said before many times, the 10 2-minute rounds really bugs me at championship level. And yet, curiously, Savannah doesn't have a problem with it. She thinks that makes it more exciting. But anyway, let's talk about the rematch, because the obvious question is, can Savannah turn it round? Can she defeat Claressa? And I think the answer is obviously yes. That was a very close fight, the first one, so there's no reason why the second one shouldn't be closer. Now, there are two ways of looking at this as far as I can see. Two immediate ways. I mean, there's probably more than two ways, but there are two ways I'm going to talk about which to me they spring to mind. And number one is that, like I said a moment ago, Claressa started that fight very, very quickly, and that there was an element of surprise there. I think she sort of took Savannah out of her comfort zone immediately, which is a brilliant tactic, a brilliant piece of work by Claressa, and she was able to completely offset Savannah and then outwork her basically and outslick her for the first 5, maybe 6 rounds. Even though there were, you know, there were the odd little cameos where Savannah's power and strength was evident. Of course, what happens is if you're using that much sort of frenetic energy, it's difficult to keep it up for the whole duration of the fight, mentally as well as physically. Physically using up a lot of energy, but mentally, especially when you've got a big, strong, imposing opponent in front of you, which Savannah certainly is. And Claressa after the fight said, look, this is by far my toughest fight. You're my best opponent. No question. What else could she say? I mean, it was obvious that was the case. But with the element of surprise gone, will Savannah and Peter Fury be able to build their tactics, their game plan around starting quicker? And if Claressa tries that again, will they be able to have something waiting for her? It's up to them to bear that in mind and make sure that Claressa doesn't have that early lead, that she is kind of contained during those first 3, 4, 5 rounds. 5 rounds, of course, is half the fight. I really don't like the 10 2-minute rounds at world level, but that's the way it is. We've got to go with it. The other way of looking at it is that Claressa has now sampled Savannah's power and strength. She knows what to expect, so she could theoretically win the rematch easier, much easier. Yeah, perfectly feasible. Perfectly feasible. Claressa is clearly the faster and the slicker, and she has a good ring IQ, very, very good indeed. And it's perfectly possible that she could outwork Savannah again. She knows what she's doing over the 10-2. She can probably pace herself a bit better. She wasn't gassing out in the second half of the fight, the one that she won, but she was slowing down and she was shipping some more punishment. And maybe if she can pace herself better, tweak a few things in terms of conditioning, maybe. The 10 2-minute rounds always favours the slicker, sharper, speedier boxer. 12 threes it would be a different story. I'd love to see Claressa Shields and Savannah Marshall fight a 12-3s fight. I would just love that. I think it would be an absolute classic. And I would strongly favour Savannah to win. I mean, very strongly favour her to win in the second half of the fight. But I could be wrong. I was absolutely wrong with my last prediction. I know a lot of, I was talking to a lot of the American guys, you guys out there, you're probably watching, some of you might be watching this video, and you were saying, no, Claressa's going to outslick her. And look, lads, you were right and I was wrong. I've got no problem with saying that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to admit it. You were right and I was wrong, even though I still think it was a very, very close fight. I thought Savannah would handle Claressa with relative ease. That's how wrong I got it. Whether you think Claressa won or not, she definitely, you know, she didn't handle her. Neither fighter handled the other with ease. It was a very, very close, tough fight. So this rematch really intrigues me. I think, you know, for women's boxing to make progression, you need these rivalries, and why not have a trilogy fight? I mean, if you exclude Savannah's winning the amateurs, you know, let's say that Savannah did win the next fight. It's one each in the pros. Why not have a third? I mean, this would build the legacy of both women and also build women's boxing up great. Now, I just want to say a few comments that I'm just going to digress a little bit here, because Savannah in an interview in Boxing News said that, you know, she loves Peter Fury. He's made me the fighter I am. There was some mention of someone ludicrously said, you know, what, are you going to leave Peter Fury? What a stupid thing to ask. But she said, no, Peter's great. And if you look at if you look at Savannah's attitude, that she's a very down-to-earth girl. Her character is no nonsense. She was originally a very shy young woman and someone who lacked confidence, didn't like the spotlight. It wasn't a case of fear. Some people just don't like the spotlight. They don't like being under those lights. They don't like the cameras being on them, the attention. Her attitude is, I just wanted to fight. Now, you have to give Peter Fury, who I rate very, very highly as a trainer, you've got to give him absolute credit for taking this young, shy woman who had lots of skills, lots of raw materials, and making her into a world-class middleweight who, I mean, you think about that fight with Claressa. Claressa came out, you know, real banging, basically, even though she's got no real power. She was banging. She was looking to take it to Savannah. And somebody who had that sort of very introverted, lacking in confidence attitude, you know, doesn't like being out of their comfort zone, would have crumbled inside. But Savannah didn't. Savannah weathered the storm and came back very strongly in the second half of the fight. That's a very different, not just fighter, but woman to who Savannah Marshall was when she was young. And, you know, I just think that Peter Fury deserves an immense amount of credit. And who is the fighter in the men's game who is currently on the rebuild trail, looking for a trainer, looking for someone to strip everything away, take it back to basics and rebuild, to be deconstructed and then reconstructed, put back together? Who's the fighter who, you know, needs to do that, needs to do exactly what Savannah has done? Anthony Joshua. I've said this before, Peter Fury would be a great trainer for Joshua. Shane McGuigan, yeah, I like him as a possible trainer for AJ, but I don't know whether it'll happen. But what Peter Fury did with Savannah Marshall in psychologically rebuilding her, mentally rebuilding her, as well as altering her game, and, you know, Savannah said, you know, Peter, in our first session, told me to drop my hands and move. I thought, what's going on? I meant to have my hands up. Yeah. Peter Fury takes a fighter, and yes, he's got his own style, and any set style will have its weaknesses. Definitely. But it worked for Savannah, and I think it worked psychologically as much as it did physically, stylistically. And I think AJ needs the same sort of treatment. He needs, and it's going to take a long time, you know. But AJ's still young enough as a heavyweight to do this. I would love to see Peter Fury train AJ. Anyway, I'm digressing there. Let me just say one more thing about Claressa Shields as well. This is a young woman who came from nothing, who came from horrendous abuse as a young woman, as a child actually, and has made herself into, I'm not going to use that stupid acronym quote. I hate that stupid. But she has achieved so much in life. And, you know, the 2 gold medals at the Olympics, got a dozen or so belts in the professional game. Let's give Claressa Shields some props as well. Terrific mental strength. And to come from where she came from to be what she is now is unbelievable. An example to anyone, male or female. So big up Claressa Shields, big up Savannah Marshall. And I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to this third fight. I hope it happens. Nothing's been signed and sealed, but I tell you, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'd be great for women's boxing, and a great fight as well. So you got any thoughts, leave them below. Thanks for watching, as always. I always appreciate your time, and plenty more videos to come in 2023. Plenty more fights, of course. But hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Thanks for your time. We'll speak again soon, and bye for now.